spike drop.
In this video, we're going to look at some simple operators that are
Got the
used in
spike.
math. You're not going to need to do a lot of math in the examples we're going through in this course, but simple arithmetic comes up pretty often. The first four operators are pretty simple, and if you've ever used a calculator program,
30 seconds left.
they'll probably look familiar.
Last
Of course,
player
has a
standing.
plus operator, so 2 plus 5 equals 7. We also have minus, which is technically a typo. 4 minus 3 is 1. Of course, we're not restricted to the counting numbers. We can do negative.
One enemy remaining.
To do multiplication, we don't use an x. We use an asterisk. So
Stay in range of my stim beacon. We'll mow them down.
times
Does
5
anyone have funds?
is 15. And then finally, we use a slash to do division. So say 36 divided by 6
Need equipment.
equals 6. And when you start getting into fractions, the result is expressed using a decimal point. So these are all fairly straightforward, probably nothing you haven't seen before. But now we're going to look at a few things that might be a little unusual. The first one is the modulus operator, which is the percent sign. What this
Get out of
means-
my way!
The modulus operator takes the first operand, which in this case is 20, divides it by the second, and returns the remainder of that division. This is often used in programming to determine whether a number is even or odd. But it could also tell you something like, if I'm showing a list of search results in groups of 20, and there are 254 of them, how many will be on the last page of results? Anyway, this is what the usage looks like. So this is 20 divided by 2, which has a remainder of 0.
Dead.
But if I change this to 19, the remainder is 1. If you wanted to find out if a number was even, you'd do a comparison that looks like this one. Normally we'd use a variable instead of a scalar value
player
like
standing.
20. That's what we call it when we're using a value directly instead of assigning it to a variable first. But doing it this way makes what we're checking very clear. So that's the modulus operator. Now let's look at incrementing and decrementing, which is something you do all the time in programming. Let's say I have a variable called counter. I'll set it to 0 to start. Many times when we're working through something in programming, you need to keep track of how often you've done it. Every time you do whatever that unit of work is, you tell a counter, all right, I've done this one more time. Go increment yourself. There are various ways that we can do that. The first is to take counter and assign it to itself plus 1. That works, but it's a little verbose, and there's always this tension in programming between keeping things verbose so they're easy to read and making it so you don't have to
10
type a lot of
seconds
stuff
left.
over and over again for something that you do often. So there are various ways to express the same thing that are a little shorter. The first one is to take your variable name and use the plus equals, also known as the addition assignment operator. So in this case, if I say counter plus equals 1,